Hey there guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Abe, and today I will be doing a run through of the dev server 1.98. And yeah, so we'll start off with the Americans. Let's go with the army. So with the army we got the new HSTVL, new light tank for the top tier Americans. It's got a very high profile on the upper plate, which is nice, but in the armor protection it can be penned even by its own round at its angle. Like, it can still be penned, so to speak, so pretty much you can one-shot the tank to some extent, but hey, it is what it is. But in terms of ammunition, you only get one round, the APFSDS shell, 276 at 0 and 160 at 60, so it's not that bad. It's not as good as the automatic, but it's decent, it's respectable. Because I believe this tank has thermals in the commander binos, and also the gunner view, of course. And I believe it's 3rd generation, so it's pretty crystal clear. So yeah, that's that, and I think that wraps it up for the Americans. On to the helicopters, it's all the same still for the Americans. With the aviation, we have got the new F3H Demon at 9.0 right now, but it's most likely going to go up to 9.3 in the live server. But from stock stats, it doesn't look too bad. It looks pretty fast. It's not a bad looking aircraft too, I guess, depending on your perspective and opinion of the aircraft. But onto the ordnance, we got the 3,000 pound bomb with 856 kilograms of TNT, which is, you know, subpar, alright. But the I think one would recommend using the 2,000 pound bombs, because you get 2 of them and they almost have 600 kilograms of TNT per bomb, so you're better off with the 2,000 pound bombs. But if you want to run like a full multi-role, I guess you can go with the 2 AIM-9s and the 1-3000, or some Mighty Mouse rockets, which should be over here. 76 Mighty Mouse rockets and the 2 AIM-9Bs. So it's quite nice. Alright, onwards. Anything else? That should be it. With the fleet, we have got the new Cleveland cruiser over here. It's pretty much a Brooklyn with better AA, but a bit less armor and one less turret, so to speak. But AAA wise, it's quite strong. You got 4 more 127mm guns, or 4-inch guns, I believe, with HEVG, so they're very nasty. Pretty much, if you try to approach this ship in a aircraft, you're asking for a death contract, pretty much, you know? You have to be really brave or really stupid to approach this ship, in other words. So yeah, it's a dangerous ship to approach. But other than that, hey, got the Cleveland in the game, so that's nice. It's a nice ship nonetheless. So yeah, it's a nice ship to bolster the American naval line atop tier, so to speak. Alright, onwards to the Germans. We'll start off with the fleet, I guess. Germans, pretty much, I believe there's nothing for the Germans in terms of naval. So we'll move on to the aviation. Right now with the aviation, they have got a new R4. Pretty much the premium R4 in the Italians is now in the Germans, so it has same ordnance options, you know, with the Mighty Mouse rockets, the AA Nords, the AS Nords, and the 4 AIM-9 Bravos, and of course the 2 500s, which you would pretty much never use, because you're better off with the AS Nords, sorry, with the AS Nords or the Mighty Mouse rockets. Oh yeah, surface Nords, sorry. And onwards, you got another F-86K for the Germans. Pretty much the F-86K is like the Sherman and the other normal F-Series Saber. It's pretty much, everyone has an F-86K now, which is pretty crazy, but hey, it's better than nothing, right? So it gets 2 AIM-9Bs. That's its only payload option, but it's better than nothing, so yeah, it's a good jet from what I've heard. But anyway, onwards. Next aircraft will be the I believe Germany will be getting an F-104, or Starfighter, or nicknamed the Widowmaker. It most likely will be in the next dev server, and I assume it's gonna be most likely after the F86K. Chances are that's what's gonna be, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, helicopters, apparently the Tiger UHT is getting its auto lock for its for the PAR 3 LR missiles, which are pretty much German Hellfires, but they can auto lock, fire and forget, so that's nice. Helps the helicopter be a bit more competitive, but I feel that it might be slightly overpowered at top tier, but we'll see what happens. Onwards to the army, I believe the German low tier tanks like the Panzer IV F2 and multiple other tanks get the wider tracks now, the Eastern Front track. As you can see, it's a wider track in comparison to the normal track, which is much more narrow. So if I uninstall this, okay, that's strange. Oh, that's parts, never mind. There we go, remove that. There you go, you can see it's a narrow track. But once you put the Eastern Front track, which is pretty much like a snow track for dealing with the Russian terrain. So therefore in War Thunder you'll have better traverse and a bit more track durability. So that's nice, it's a win-win, hell yeah. And you got the M48 Super, a new entry top tier tank. It's pretty much a M48 with standoff armor to help against chemical rounds, as you can see in the protection analysis right here, against the 400mm heat FS fired by the L7, the DM12. It does pretty well, as you can see on the turret. It does really well, but kinetic wise, it's nothing much. You can use the top round that this tank can fire, the DM33. So pretty much this tank can fire the same ammunition as the Radkampfwagen with the German TD, so to speak. But this tank gets thermal. Pretty much, yeah, thermal is the only thing it has over the Radkampfwagen, yeah. And some subpar protection. In terms of kinetic protection, it's nothing, pretty much. It won't stop any kinetic rounds, but chemical rounds and maybe ATGMs from helicopters and stuff, it will help quite a bit, so yeah. But as you can see, its top round is the DM33, 4 and 8. 236 to 60 degrees, so it'll have no trouble taking out T-64Bs at range, so that's nice. So it's pretty tasty and respectable. It's got the thermal and the laser range fighters, so that's a win-win. So not bad overall. It seems to be a pretty decent tank, and also, if I forget, it does have a 1000 horsepower engine, so when it's stock, it's generated 884 horsepower, but when spaded, you will have a 1000 horsepower to complement the tank, therefore increasing its overall mobility. Alright, onwards, we'll move over to the Soviets. With the Soviet army, we have got a new... God, I'm gonna butcher this, but it's pretty much a new ATGM launcher. The Chrysanthema, or Chrysanthema S. It's pretty much a BMP3 hull with an ATGM launcher. It's got a ground radar, so you can lock onto people. And pretty much fire and forget. You can pretty much use one missile, fire and forget, and then simultaneously fire the second missile and guide that manually, like the old school way, just manually guide it, while the other missile automatically tracks the enemy target that you have locked with your radar or ground radar. But in terms of penetration, it's really powerful. It's a tandem warhead, so it's pretty much meant to defeat ERA. I believe it's meant to defeat ERA like Contact 1 ERA. So, or even Contact 5, I'm not sure, but Contact 1, no problem. And you have 1200 mils of pen, so it's very nasty. It's a fast missile, 550 meters a second, so it's not to be messed with. And, of course, you got the HE warhead, which I don't know why on earth you would use it, but hey-ho. So yeah, this is Russia's new top-tier ATGM flinger. I fear that it might be a bit cancerous, it might be a bit of a IT1 syndrome, but chances are later on it'll be nerfed in terms of its ground radar, etc., and heartbreak, etc., etc. Helicopters wise, there's no difference, still the same stuff. Aviation wise, we are finally getting a proper Sukhoi jet, a Sukhoi 7. As you can see here, Sukhoi 7. It has a nice downwards attack, I guess, with the landing gear or undercarriage. I guess it helps with taxi to some extent of speaking. So yeah, and also it helps prevent tail strikes. I learned this from a friend, which is very useful. So yeah, it's nice. It's kind of unique, the layout. But it's pretty powerful, as you can see the engine. Really powerful engine. It's actually more powerful than the Mirage in terms of its engine. So very powerful engine. So when it comes to weapons, you got your pretty trash S5K rockets, pretty useless. S24s, which are really nice. You get 4 of them. You get these new S3Ks. They're like S13s to some extent, but inferior. But hey, it's something. So you got the 4 250s or the 4 500s, which is really tasty. So hell yeah. But other than that, it's pretty much a MiG-21 with more ground pound capabilities, I assume. So yeah, I'm not sure whether this one gets a ballistic computer, but chances are it won't. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And it does not have a radar, it seems. So well, that's that. So I believe that's it for the Russian aircrafts. In terms of fleet, pretty much I believe there's nothing for the Russian fleet, but I may be wrong. But it's the Russian fleet, it's nothing too eventful. Onwards to Great Britain with the fleet. We get a new heavy cruiser, the HMS York. It's pretty much the same as the HMS Kent, I believe, but less AAA, that's about it. So no point in looking at it. With the aviation, you have got the Scimitar. It has been a long sought after aircraft and asked for aircraft in War Thunder for a long period of time. So yeah, finally it's in the game. Beautiful jet. When it comes to the armament, you got 4 1000s, your AP rockets, with a combo of 2 1000s, AIM-9 Bravos, and I believe this is the first for British aircraft. It can carry bullpups, the American bullpups, or a combo of AIM-9Bs and bullpups, plus AIM-9Bs and 2 1000s. So it's pretty tasty. And it's got 4 Aidens, which is typical for British aircrafts, but it has a lovely complement of 640 rounds, as you can see. So this plane is going to be a nice gunfighter. So that's tasty. Alright, onwards to the helicopters. Same story. Nothing has changed, so to speak. But when it comes to the tanks, with the British tanks, you got the Stuarts, the Stuart 1 and the Stuart 3. So pretty much new Stuarts, pretty much identical to the American Stuarts. So new low tier tanks for the British. And all the way down to the new Challenger 2. So pretty much it's like a variant of the Challenger 2 Megatron, so to speak, one of the variants. I believe, from what I found out from testing, that even with the Chobham package, well, with the Dorchester 2F package installed, it seems that Gaijin in the dev server isn't counting the Chobham plates, so it doesn't provide any kinetic protection, which is rather disappointing. But hopefully in the live server that will be fixed, and we'll actually get some Chobham blocks on the lower plate. But other than that, stock, this tank is pretty much identical to the Challenger 2. Yeah, it has ERA blocks in the side and all, but it's not going to help against kinetic, you know what I mean? So hopefully once it goes to live server, the Chobham blocks, which should be over here on the side and the lower plate, should help defeat kinetic rounds, or help at least absorb some of the kinetic penetration values of power. Alright, onwards to Japan. Japan, in terms of the army, they finally get their new SAM, a Type 93, which is pretty much a, here we go, it's pretty much a Humvee with Mistral missiles, so that's really nice. Very mobile vehicle, very tasty. It's zippy. It's pretty much the fastest vehicle in the game, because it's 2.6 tons with a 213 horsepower engine. So the power to weight ratio on this vehicle is mental. It's a Humvee, you know what I mean? So a Humvee, a Patriot, what do you want to go with? You know, it's nice. It's a nice vehicle. And the Mistrals, you get 8 of them. It's a Mistral, so that's what you get from Mistral. 5.50 kilometer rear aspect and 3 kilometer all aspects. So it's tasty. It's a good missile. But nonetheless, it's a fun vehicle. I'm glad Japan finally gets a SAM. So hell yeah. And finally, Japan gets their helicopter tech tree with the H1S and another H1S, pretty much H1Fs, 2 of them, and you get your Japanese Apache over here. It's beautiful camouflage. Stock, it gets a 20mm cannon, and you can upgrade to the 30mm cannon, standard 30mm on the Apache. You got your M92 Stingers, and of course you can carry your glorious 16 Hellfires. So, hell yeah. Tasty. So Japan's getting a more solid lineup now for top tier, which is good. Planes wise, they get a new attack plane, so to speak, or torpedo bomber. Looks like a enlarged Zero, in my opinion. So yeah, it gets a nice 800 kilogram bomb and some torpedoes to boot. So hell yeah, that's that. All right, onwards to the fleet. They are getting the Tone, the Imperial Japanese Navy Tone, which is nice. So it's kind of unique for War Thunder. Pretty much all the guns are in the front, which is nice. So if you fire off at an angle like this, you can pretty much get all the guns to bear and somewhat protect your ammunition, to some extent of speaking, so that's nice. And it does have like 60 25mm cannons, protecting the ship from aircrafts at close range. So that might be quite useful. I guess we're going to find out in the live server and hope that it's good. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Armor-wise, standard 145. So at an angle, it's not bad. It's not bad at all, actually, at range. It has 56 mils of deck armor. So that's not bad either against plunging fire. So we'll see what happens. What else? That's done. Onwards to China. China gets a new premium, I believe. Yes, the T69. The T69 pretty much gets a more powerful APFSD shell. So it does penetrate better at 60 degrees, 203mm of armor, and 351mm of armor at 0 degrees. And it also gets a HEVT round, pretty much like the M1A2's M830A1 shot. So it's pretty much a MPAT, I believe, or something along those lines. So useful against planes and low-flying helicopters, so yeah. And also, apparently, all laser rangefinders, their range-finding capabilities have been buffed from 4,800 meters to 9,999 meters, so that's nice. We get increased range with the laser rangefinder. So you can use this round more effectively to yeet helicopters. But other than that, this tank is nothing special. It's pretty much inferior to the T-54 AM, the Russian premium, because it doesn't have the standoff blocks that do additional kinetic protection plus chemical protection, but instead all you're getting is relatively cheap contact 1 style ERA, which is pretty much useless at this tier, and the upper plate's maybe gonna help stop heat. That's about it. So it's pretty useless. I wouldn't recommend getting this tank, but if you have the money to throw at it, I guess it's your money. You can do whatever you want. It's pretty much an L7 in a glorified T-54. So yeah, it doesn't get thermals, none of it. And also, I believe they get the new AAA, the mini Shilka at low tier, 600 rounds per minute per barrel, and you get 480 rounds, which is nice. And its AP belt is pretty respectable. You can kill tanks quite easily. 63 mils a pen, and you got a nice HE belt to boot. So yeah, it should be a nice little AAA vehicle, but it should not be a 3.7. Hopefully it'll be a 5.0, but we'll just have to see what happens in the live server. But yeah, that's that. And I think that sums it up for the Chinese. Aviation wise, I believe they get a F-40 Sabre. There we go. The new, oh, it's an F-30. I thought it was an F-40, but anyway, yeah, they get a new Sabre. No biggie. Onwards to the Italians. The Italians are getting a lot of love this patch. They are getting the F-104 Starfighter as their top tier Mark II capable jet. Right now, on the stat card, RB stats wise, it has the highest climb rate in the game. I'm pretty sure this thing's spaded. It's going to have like 250 meters per second, 240 meters per second climb rate. So this thing is going to be an absolute rocket. So yeah, it's going to be nice. It'll be a good climber, you know, in and out jet. It's going to be like a Hunter F1, in and out, zoom in and out of the battlefield. And in terms of payload options, you got your AIM-9 Bravos. You can carry your 750-pound bombs, your 2,000-pound bombs, and I guess the ultimate payloads would be, I guess you can go with the 2 AIM-9s and the 76 Mighty Mouse rockets, or for fighter purposes, you can go with 6 AIM-9 Bravos, which is really delicious. But unfortunately, they only AIM-9 Bravos. But hey, you got 6 of them. If you can, I'm pretty sure with 6 missiles, you can at least kill 1 player. So it's not bad. So that's that. All right. In terms of Zuni rockets, it's only 8, so I wouldn't even use that. It's pointless. You're better off with the Mighty Mouse rockets. But yeah, that's this chat. I believe that's about it for the planes, Italian planes. Onwards to the, of course, you have the Italian fleet. Pretty much, that's their fleet. You have the top tier Trento. Yay. I feel like the Italian Navy is going to be dead on arrival to some extent, because this ship cannot compete with the top tier naval. It's just going to be an RP Pinata floating around, but hey, it is what it is. It does look beautiful though, that's for sure. And it does have some decent rounds. Yeah, it does have some decent rounds. Gotta give it that. But other than that, it's nothing impressive. It's a pretty weak ship in terms of protection. Alright, onwards to the helicopters. Still the same story. And the Italians are getting a new M3A3. Pretty much another Stuart, or the Chinese Stuart, so to speak. For the Italians, they're also getting an M24, as you can imagine, an M4A4, again, like the Chinese M24. And they're also getting a Sherman Firefly, but this one's special. It can fire the APDS round that's present on the Challenger, so that's pretty nasty. They're also getting another M18, so yay, the Italians getting an M18. Just M18s everywhere, so no. Anyway, onwards to the French, I guess. I believe that's about... Actually, hold on. Before I move on, they do get an M4 hybrid. A new premium for the Italians. So a new M4 Sherman premium. Yay. With the French, the army got a new D2, which they did a devlog on, which is pretty much like a cheaper Char B, so to speak, tank. I don't know. It's up about decent armor, so yay, another low tier tank, low tier fun times, and we got another M4A4 for the French. And what else do we have? I think that's about it for the French. Yep, that wraps it up for the French. Helicopters wise, still the same story. Aviation wise, of course, we got our beautiful Mirage at the very end. There we go. There she is in all her glory. Beautiful jet. And in terms of armored options, we have got the 2 Defers, but I believe the ultimate payload option would be this one. There we go. You can carry 2 of the Matras, which are really nice missiles, long range, relatively high G missiles, so that's tasty. Or I believe you can go with like 2 M9Bs and 1 Matra. I think it's somewhere over here. It's just this UI is really cluttered, so it's hard to find sometimes the payload options. So anyway, yeah, it gets a assortment of payload options, so that's nice. All right, I think that's about it for that. And with Sweden, yeah, on to Sweden. Swedish planes wise, the J-35 has finally got its RB-24J missiles, which are pretty much the AIM-9J missiles, so you can pull 20 Gs for the missiles. So this will make the Draken rather more competitive at top tier, so hell yeah. And in terms of the army, we have got the new STR-F 9056, which is pretty much an STR-V90 with a ATGM launcher. So from what I've heard, this ATGM launcher is a top-down javelin style missile, so to speak, but it doesn't make direct contact, so to speak. So the missile launches and it detonates above the tank on top of the turret, for example. So it's a rather nice I guess light tank, IFV, I guess light tank for the Swedish. Swedish are getting more and more competitive and interesting for the IBR, so it's nice. It still gets the HUVT, so that's delicious. And the lovely APDS round, but it does not get the higher tier, well, higher penetration APDS round, which is 170 mils of penetration. Instead, you get the 140 mils, which is nice, so that's not bad. That's tasty. But yeah, that pretty much sums up the a relatively quick run through. I'm sorry for this long, but hey guys, I hope you enjoyed it. So yeah, I hope you guys have a lovely day. Thank you for watching the video. If you'd like to support the channel in a further way, if you like the video, feel free to throw a like or subscribe. It's up to you. But I do stream on Twitch, and I do have my Twitch channel below the channel. So either way, I hope you guys enjoy the stream. I hope you'll have a lovely day. I mean, sorry. I hope you enjoyed the run through, not stream. I'm sorry. So yeah, you guys have a lovely day and take care. Thanks for hanging out. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.